call the meeting for the March 16th, 2020 Board of Selectmen open. Ask everyone to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome. Open it to public comment.
Do you want it now? My name is Betsy Baker. I'm here as the director of the Milton Free Public Library, and I just wanted to let you know that it's been decided that we will be closing the library at least through the 31st. At that time, we'll reevaluate. There will be a librarian available Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday mornings, so that if anyone wants to learn about downloadable books or get a library card so they could use the downloadable book program, someone will be available. And in addition to that, on our Facebook page, I will be, anytime I get an online resource that I think would be helpful, I will be sharing that.
Okay, thank you. And will they be on site on the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Yes.
There'll be somebody on site. So the
But
doors
there
will,
won't be like 3 or 4 people, there will be
Right.
one person.
the door will be locked,
Yes.
but there will be somebody there. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy.
Okay, number 1, reorganization of the Board of Selectmen.
I will, well, first of all, thanks Matt, for joining the Selectmen, Board of Selectmen. I'll make a motion to, if she would love to do it, the chair.
I will second that motion.
Thank you. Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Moving on, swearing in of newly elected board and committee members.
Are you going to nominate a vice
Oh,
chair?
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm with this. I'd like to nominate a vice chair.
I would nominate Andrew Rawson for vice chair.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Matt.
Roll call.
Aye.
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 All right. Swearing in of newly elected board and committee members. Is there anyone here who needs to be sworn
Larry, I have a sheet for you too here.
I did his.
What's that?
I did his earlier.
Oh, good, okay, never mind. All right. And there's Ryan.
in? He doesn't want to be. He's going to do it after.
Oh, okay.
All righty. Moving on. Board of Selectmen Committee Board and Assignments.
And one clarification on that one, Madam Chair, is zoning board of adjustment doesn't have an assignment. The planning board, of course, would have that, but the ZBA, if they're elected, they don't have statutorily a member that's assigned to them from the Board of Selectmen.
All righty. Thank you. You want to talk about each of them? Do you know what you want to do, or?
I mean, I'm good with staying on planning board.
Yeah, I don't mind discussing this.
Which one did you want to discuss?
Well, I mean, I guess we can just start with A and go down through the list of boards, and the ones that we don't need to discuss, we don't need to, but we could start right at the budget committee. So I did sit on the budget committee last year. It's a it's a committee that I'm not gonna, it takes a lot of your time, and, it's not my first year I sat on it, so I was just, it'd be nice for someone else to sit on the budget committee
I
If-
had it the year before.
if, so willing. I mean, I realize you sit on the planning board, Matt, and I wouldn't expect you to sit on both of them, and I know you're familiar with what?
Oh, nothing, I was,
No,
it was a discreet.
Oh, I would never do that to Matt or anybody, but, for me, the budget committee does consume a lot of your time. I gotta be transparent about it, so,
Does, not this time of year, but towards the end of the,
Yeah,
the
I
end
mean,
of the
towards
year is
budget
when it's really
season,
hard, right,
towards
which is
bud-
Christmas
yeah,
and,
towards budget season, it does take a lot of time. I mean, if I have to sit on it again, I will, but it would be nice to
share the wealth.
share the wealth. Oh, I didn't know if anybody wanted to
Don't
step up.
everybody jump at once? And he's right, I mean, planning board does take a lot of time. I'd be, God, I'd be willing to entertain, doing the budget committee again.
You over here sweating.
I was too.
I'll take the budget committee.
All right. I mean, it'd be nice to alternate the budget committee every
Right.
year amongst the select
Right.
board. So,
So Matt shook his head next year, he said he'd definitely take it.
I don't know if those words actually came out of my mouth, but
Alright. Planning board, Matt said he'd go ahead and stay on that, everybody good with that?
mhm.
Economic development,
Um, And I think I mean, I'll take the last two. Or,
school and rec,
yeah, I mean, I think that would be fair, if that's, if that's fine with you.
I know it's something you've been chomping at the bit to get back to.
Well, no, I
so-
mean, it's just, you know,
No, hey,
so the economic development and the recreation, is that the last two that we, because we don't have someone that sits on the school board.
No.
So, what?
Heritage Commission.
Ah,
Thank you.
I'll take Heritage for now. See how it works out. Hopefully I do my best to allocate all the time. If we need to adjust, I hope we'd be able to.
Mm-hmm.
alrighty. So, for clarification, we've got, I'm gonna take the budget committee, Matt's gonna take planning board, Andy's gonna take economic development and recreation, and Matt is going to take the heritage commission, which is newly developed, so. Moving on, Board of Selectmen bylaw discussion.
Have you got a chance to read the bylaws, Matt?
I started reading through it Friday night and Saturday. I didn't make it all the way through it.
You wanna table them for now? Have a chance to,
That's probably would be my suggestion, until we read
Motion?
through them. I'll make a motion to table the bylaws until, till the next meeting, so Matt has a chance to look them over.
I'll second it. Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
The 2020 election and warrant article results.
Well, in your package, you have a copy of the, well, sample ballot that Michelle provided with the actual votes. And, you know, for, as far as the, I won't go into the elected folks here because that's not really my purview, but for the articles, operating budget, of course, the default budget was adopted by a pretty good margin. The vote was 421 to 273. And then the school resource officer failed. The contingency fund failed. I mean, in a nutshell, most of the required appropriations failed. The optional tax credit for service-connected disability passed. Let's see, the Stratford Regional Planning Commission failed. The Highway, Road and Reconstruction Fund, that was a $350,000 appropriation, failed. And Fire Department Capital Reserve Fund, Highway Special Equipment Capital Reserve Fund, the Highway Department Vehicle Fund, Municipal Buildings Fund, all of those failed. The Milton Free Public Library $20,000 Capital Reserve Fund appropriation passed. So did the two technology funds, one for town hall technology and one for geographic information systems. And the Bridge Capital Reserve Fund did pass. You had eradicate invasive species passed. And let's see. The establishment of independent capital reserve or improvement program committee, that failed. Elected fire chief failed. The two regarding the solar lease, the solar garden lease agreement, both of those passed, which is good. One of those, if you'll recall, the town will collect $20,000 for that as part of the agreement up front. And then, let's see, one of the sister ones to that, allowing the selectmen to rent town property for a period up not to exceed 5 years, that failed. The Heritage Commission, that passed. And then the petition warrant article regarding the optional tax exemption for solar, wind-powered, and wood heating systems failed by, 13 votes. And then the adoption of a tax cap, that did pass, the 2% tax cap. I'm going to turn this thing off. So that's where you are with that. I didn't know if you had any comments or...
No, I mean, I will say on the Highway and Road Construction Fund, where that failed, unfortunately, we do not get that block grant from the state, that $134,000, so the town loses out on that, right?
The town doesn't necessarily lose out on that, but it can't spend it this year. It does lose out definitely on the appropriation that the town was gonna put in.
Okay, so we do still get the $134,000?
Right, but you can't use it
Okay.
this year because
Right.
no means no. You do have the amount that is still non-lapsed in the amount of $224,000 that can be used.
Right, all right, that's good to know.
Yeah.
With that being said, though, I think we need to look at, the people have made it loud and clear what they don't want. And I think we need to find some ways to make cuts in the budgets across the board. I think that's gonna be a discussion that we're gonna have to have over the next couple of weeks. Of course, we need to keep in mind now with the COVID-19 virus, that's gonna put a damper on meetings and such as well too, so all of that.
And so when I get a chance to talk to department heads, we'll come back to you with specific things in a written format so you can go over them in public meeting fashion.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything to add on the warrants?
No?
All right, next up is the multi-board meeting that is presently scheduled for April 6th.
Well, given everything that's happened in terms of coronavirus and COVID-19 is also known as, I don't think that would be good to schedule that meeting for that night. As you know, I've been reading up on what's been happening in the school system. Many states have canceled their classes. I know my wife teaches in her school system. They're closed for 3 weeks. Here it's 3 weeks, and I think honestly they're going to end up reevaluating that, and it may end up that they are closed for even longer. We just don't really know yet. But I think a couple of articles that I've seen, one of them Chief Cross sent to me, that talked about, I think you probably all heard this on the news, the attempt to flatten the impact of the coronavirus by, I love this term, social distancing and all of that, trying to make sure that we're not, creating opportunities for people to get together and spread the virus. And, this all ultimately comes down to protecting the people in the at-risk populations. And, we all have family members, I assume, that are in that population, so we all want to be really careful about it. I don't know if you want to segue into the discussion about the 30 days and the non-essential boards and utilizing the facilities, but what's happening with it's changing from hour to hour. People are at this point we're going to get some advice from Drummond Woodson based on what they're doing with some of their other towns, is that based on RSA 4114A, which is use of town-owned buildings, they are stating that all non-essential boards and committees not meet for 30 days. Now, non-essential, what does that mean? That means all the boards, with the exception of the planning board and the ZBA, which are both quasi-judicial boards, what the advice is that they're being given is to talk to the applicants that are in front of you now, find out if you can get an extension of 30 days, and if you can't, then let's do everything we can to make sure the public can see the meetings or be involved with it from their homes. For instance, we could put a phone in here and give a phone number, and if people had comments or wanted to call in, they could do that. That's all assuming that people are unwilling to give you the 30 days extension. So that's what I'd encourage the board members to do. And if you as a board want to make that in order that the town facilities would not be available for those non-essential meetings. That's everybody except planning board and ZBA. And in their cases, if they can get those extensions, then there'd be no need for them to meet over the next 30 days either. And beyond that, we're looking at what we can do in-house to sort of mitigate exposure to different things. Part of it, some of the other towns and cities are adopting a stance where, if somebody has symptoms, they come into work, supervisor sees these symptoms, they can get sent home. They wouldn't be required to use the sick time, and that would be something that you'd need to review every couple of weeks. But the thought is you don't want to discourage people or encourage people to come to work because they're afraid they're not going to get paid for it, and they have to come to work and spread the virus even more. So that's one of those things that I put together a draft on. I think probably something like that, it would be great to have a decision at least for, for a couple of weeks, and you can readdress that at the next meeting. Because I think you're gonna have to call, an interim meeting just to address whatever policies we come up with over the next couple of days to deal with this. But that's sort of a bunch of stuff shoved into that multi-board meeting. Because we initially wanted to have it on April 6th, and we were looking at trying to have it at the townhouse, but number one, the date's too soon given the coronavirus, and the townhouse, I'm not sure that would be ready by that time. Anyway, we went and looked at it today, and it's got a lot of cleaning up that needs to be done, and there's some things that aren't finished yet. But regardless, we should plan on having that multi-board meeting, once we're clear of all of this, because it'll get everybody in a room at one time. You can get the right to know training and some of the other things done, get questions answered, and people can meet each other and understand maybe a little bit more about what each of these boards and committees do. And maybe we can start a fresh track on things and get some collaboration going here.
So for tonight, do you think we should go ahead and just make that all meetings except for ZBA and Planning Board effective immediately?
Right, you can't use town facilities for any non-essential board meetings. And that's, of course, with the exception of Planning Board and ZBA, unless they get the extensions.
Okay.
Motion so said.
Second.
Roll call?
Aye.
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 That's all town buildings.
Yeah, it would be all town facilities.
Okay. Old
And,
business.
I was just say, anything else we'll bring to you over the next few days.
Thank you. Old business, there's nothing listed. Do you have anything under? Do you have any other?
No, not under that part.
So we're just gonna table the all boards meeting until things clear up. Is that what I'm just
Right.
reiterating?
Right,
That's
I
what
mean,
we're
that's
doing.
fine with you, sure.
Alrighty, moving on. Approval of the minutes from March 2nd.
I've read them. Can you all sign?
Yeah, I'm all set.
I'll make a motion to accept the Board of Selectmen's meetings March 2nd, 2020, as written.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do we have any, do we have any public comment pertaining to the topics at hand tonight? I see a definitive yes here.
Larry Brennan. One of the nice things about a small community is that you remain community. And I have no problem with the election as such, and I'm rather glad that you have won through to becoming the mayor of Milton, so to speak. However, by my rough count, we have a $400,000 hole in the budget. And a 2-inch shim on a mile of road costs about $100,000. Road work itself to create a new road is, call it $1 million a mile. We will not replace the money that is not there, which means that if you ever expect to pull even with the renewal of your roads, you have to double the money that you did not have this year. That is simple math. There is one definition that fits two words. Getting what you want is the definition of happiness and unhappiness. Second topic, the coronavirus and COVID-19 itself. I am a child of the Depression in that I grew up with my grandparents, born in 1876, 1880, in Brooklyn, New York, where my mother, when I was in high school, telling me of the pandemic, talked of neighbors who went to work at Kings County Hospital 9 a.m. on Monday and came home dead 5 p.m. Tuesday. If I would have preferred to have a more dramatic post-draft discussion, and if I were king, I would want Ernie to be nominated by this board to be the spokesman. And would you please get the idiots off social media who believe that granola and colloidal cylinders stuffed up your nose are going to stop a virus. This is scientific work, folks. Get the state health department advisements out. If you want an absolute, rock-solid, honest, third-party review, it is called Ars Technica, capital A-R-S, capital T-E-C-H-N-I-A. They are updated every day at 3 p.m. They are the solid information of what is happening. If you go to that site and read it, you will find the differences from 1918 to the city of Philadelphia saying, "Lawsy, lawsy, nobody here but us chickens," and St. Louis. There were 12,000 deaths in Philadelphia, 1,200 in St. Louis. Thank you. Welcome back, Connor.
Expenditure report.
I'm all set, really, we just had the election and really not much to talk about right now, so for the expenditure report anyways, so I'm all set personally.
Matt, do you have any questions?
Nope.
Okay. Town administrator comments.
Well, a lot of them were dealing with coronavirus. We do have some correspondence, and what I'd like to do, moving forward, is I can give that to you as part of your agenda, and you can go through it. But I just wanted to let you know that with all those things that we wrote about or addressed with the last Board of Selectmen with regard to New Hampshire retirement system penalties and the IRS, that we have gotten correspondence from all of those parties, that all of those fines and so forth have been forgiven or waived. So that's a relief. Finally got those definitely done.
Excellent.
So, we did receive something here. I don't know if you normally do this, but this was copied to the Board of Selectmen and Conservation Commission. Was to Charles Marino, who's a forester with the state, where they'd given permission to remove more than 50% of the basal area along 720 feet of the Branch River. It's map 14, lot 19. So there are just a series of conditions with that, and it's really just forest management that's involved with it. So it's on file with the town clerk tax collector's office if anybody wants to look at it. Michelle gave me this notice that the town clerk tax collector's office will be closed on Thursday, March 26th. So,
All day?
yeah. And there are a set of non-public minutes here from March 2nd that Danielle just gave to me if you want to take a look at those, or you could,
The two from the last meeting.
yeah, those are from the last.
Can we table them, so we haven't had a chance to review them, can we table them until the next meeting? Are you,
I'm fine with that.
um, let's see. So I think you probably should take a look at these and, you know, and they should be approved or amended or whatever the case may be, and you should seal them
okay.
for a period of time, before the time period goes by that you have to make a decision on them. On the backside.
It looks a lot more intimidating than it really is.
Oh,
Right, it's just the part that's
All right.
underlined there.
Okay.
that's a meeting that we had.
No, he
I
wasn't there.
Right. Okay.
I'm assuming these are the two different ones, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, so this is
Yeah.
another different, oh, okay. But this one, we don't really have to seal, do we?
No.
Right.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and make a motion to seal the minutes from March, non-public minutes from March 2nd at 4:15 PM. Indefinite.
I'll second it.
Doesn't require signature on this one.
You just take your final vote.
Aye. This one we'll have to seal. Can we go ahead and make the announcement that we accepted the resignation? Can we go ahead and make the announcement that we, on this one?
Oh, why don't we wait?
Okay. All right. You want to seal them then for a short period of time?
Yeah.
Sure.
I'll make a motion to go ahead and seal for 3 months the meeting minutes from March 2nd at 4:01 PM.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Aye.
Aye. Selectmen comments.
I'd just like to thank the taxpayers for entrusting me this job, and I'll do my best.
Thank you. Are you all set with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So first up, I want to thank everybody who ran for a position this year for the town of Milton. It's nice to see people step up to the plate and give back to the community, and I just want to thank again everybody who ran and won a position, and unfortunately, people who ran and didn't get the position. I want to thank Matt again for stepping up and being one of the Board of Selectmen. I look forward to working with him. We have our work cut out for us. We know where we need to be and where we need to go. We need to do our due diligence on finding a happy medium for what the taxpayers are telling us and what kind of services they're looking for and because unfortunately with cuts we got to figure out what's really important for the people who live here, and my number is always there. If you want to call me, I'm willing to listen and talk to anybody that lives here for your advice or what you need or what you want. In closing, I guess, with the school being closed, if there is any children out there that need a lunch during the day, please, if you don't, call my phone number and I'll put it right out there, 603-534-1330. Because there's absolutely no reason why a child should go without eating during the day. I will help provide that. So I guess really that's all I have.
Thank you. First, I'd like to say thank you guys for nominating me as the chair. Second, welcome aboard, Matt. I'll let y'all know how I feel about the budget at a later time. It's a difficult one, it really is. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who came out and voted. I'm kind of disappointed in the voter turnout with the number over 3,500 registered voters in town. Only 813 people came out and voted. And I mean, I understand with, what's going on in the culture right now with, the emergencies and that, but it's just kind of shocking that more people didn't come out to vote. With that being said, the COVID-19 is something that we all need to be taking seriously, and we need to understand as we develop protocols here in the town. For this, Ernie has been working on a blog that will help to keep people up to date. Hopefully we'll get that fired up and out to the public soon, but keep an eye on the town website and the Facebook pages for updates on what's happening. And I think that's it for me. Anything else?
So there's no need for your non-public that's on there now for the last item on the agenda.
No, I think we're good.
Sorry.
So we will go ahead and make a motion to adjourn.
No second.
Roll call.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.